And here we are, another fun workshop here at the Tarot Guild. This is going to be interesting. Remote reading. Earlier, I said remote viewing. Yeah, I've watched
That's
too much
too
Art
bad.
Bell. Too much Art Bell, Mary. I'm telling you. Geez.
I'm all for it. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
maybe you could do readings by remote viewing. We've never thought of that, right? Right. So remotely reading for people. First of all, elephant in the room. Yes, you can actually do this. Yeah, I mean, there are people still out there that, well, if you don't touch my cards, I can't read for you. So fly to Albany, New York. But remember, psychic friends, the 80s. I mean, people have been reading, at least by telephone before the fun technology we have now, like what we're doing right now on Zoom. Been doing it for forever, so it can be done. And it might actually be better. We'll see what comes up in this discussion, but everything from reading on the telephone to what we're doing here, Zoom, Skype, although notice Skype's getting not ever since COVID, everybody got on Zoom and it's like, oh yeah, that Skype thing, we don't even really think about it anymore. I got rid of my subscription. I'm like, well, I'm paying for a subscription for Zoom. I'm not going to pay for Skype. I can dial out free on Google for I use that for a business number, the Google one. Let's see, what else? Telephone, email, text chat. That's interesting. We'll talk about that. And also reading through services. So websites, reading services, Keen or Random, California Psychics, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of them now. And there's all different ways they do it. Some do phone and chat, some do video conference only, some do, telephone and video conference. So we'll get into all of that. We got our fabulous panel. I think this is our first, we've all been on here before, but this is like our first official panel discussion with the staff here. So we got Pamela Steele, we got the fabulous Corby Mitleid, we've got Gary Karp, we got Mary Brown. Sharona Rapsik was supposed to be here, has not arrived yet, but she may pop in at any second. And so far we got Vita and Ignacio and Ellie with us. And if you're joining us in archive for the recording, hey, thanks for watching. Okay. So
Pamela Steele. Pamela Steele. You did not mention this Pamela Steele.
Pamela Steele.
You said me.
Yeah, I said her first, actually, then you, Corbs.
Oh,
so who's... So which part of this do we want to tackle first? Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Corby.
If your clients...
There's Sharona.
Hey, Sharona. If your clients say, can you really read me over the phone? Is it real? You just look at them and say, if I could only read you in person, how do you know I'm not reading your body language? Oh, yeah. You got to give them a very simple answer for why. Then you can explain to them, energy is energy. It has no boundaries. It's not a problem. But they're very much, if they're rookies, they might have just had the fake gypsies that they see down the street. So you have to remind them, this is bigger than we are. There's lots of room to do this. So
yes. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and I want to make sure we don't forget to go into this, is, some of the benefits, things you don't even think of, like safety. Because if you're reading for people in public or not in public, you're going to their place of business, their home, they're coming to your home or even your office, there's a safety factor as well. It's a little different if you're reading it at a fair, of course. Corby can fill us in on that. You have a lot of people, you're pretty safe. But yeah, I like the safety of it. The people that want to be even more anonymous, especially if they're in the Bible Belt or
yes,
wherever they are, You know, it's like, oh, but I'm stuck in Iowa. It's like, it's okay, hon. You can read for someone in Germany over Zoom. That's one of the other big benefits, of course, is it opens up what the entire world can be your client. You know, you're not stuck with just people in your local area or the next big town over or the next big town over, you know. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick, the safety aspect of it. You can stay more anonymous if you are careful about how you're, you know, setting things up. Like for instance, I just mentioned about my phone line through Google, you know, and everybody can get a free phone number through Google, and that's my business number. That's what I use. That's what goes on the business cards. No, they don't get my cell phone number. And so you want to set things up like that, you know, if you want to be more anonymous, if you want to have more security and so forth. But for me, the big thing is just having access to clients all over the place. Who else wants to jump in?
I guess I'll add my 2 cents, and this is maybe call it a caveat, because reading remotely does allow all of us tarot readers of different walks of life really to reach the entire world, and it allows us to open up our business and sell our services to people we might not have reached. The other side to that is there is a gold rush of people out there who are going to get in your ear and let you know how you can use remote reading or work at home or whatever you choose to call it, and make $10,000, $20,000 in 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever it is. My very strong suggestion is if anybody ever says that to you, make sure you have every single one of your fingers still on your hand, and you have your wallet, and run like hell the other way.
Run like hell the other way.
Yes, you can make a living, part-time or full-time, reading remotely. It is possible. You can do it through email, chat, all the other ways that Dax has mentioned in the past. There is one element you need to have, and that is it takes work. And I don't want anyone who is watching this either here or on the replay to believe we are saying this is a panacea. It is not.
No.
Believe me, I have been through every get rich quick scheme in the world. None has worked for me. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes consistency to your craft and to the learning of how to run the business online, because they're two different animals, online to in person. And in many ways, I think that online, and I may be showing my age and my generation here, may be a little bit more challenging than in real life.
That's why we're doing this workshop. You know, it's not a class, you know, we're not going to teach you how, but we're here. So if this is something you want to do, and if you're having trouble with how do I set up Skype, how do I set up Zoom, backgrounds, how do I do, you know, we'll do some workshops where we give you some more details on that. And plus you can just contact us and we'll be glad to jump on a Zoom here and chat with you about it and best practices and, you know, what we've done and things like that. As far as for the clients, you know, it's getting easier. I mean, you just have a little link. You can, you know, you're talking to them online through email or you're on Messenger with them or something. You pop the link in here, click this link. And when it asks you to allow the Zoom to use your mic and cam, just say yes, and boom, we're on. It used to be a lot more difficult, the technology, and you know, things are working really, really well now, and it's almost like you're in the same room with them. I mean, this is a little different. If you're seeing all of our video cameras going here, when you're doing a one-on-one and you can click focus and just have the person you're talking to up there. I mean, it's like you're in the same room, and you can, hold up your cards and so forth like that. It's getting easier. Two things that popped in my head when you said that, Gary, was that, and I'm not saying that you were suggesting this, but some people might be still wary of the technology, either on the reader side, or are the clients going to be able to, there's 80-year-olds using Zoom. And this is the other thing too, is you can't please everybody, and there's so many different different ways of doing it that, if they really don't want to get on camera, pick up the telephone, you can do audio. By the way, if they don't want to do video or don't have a video camera, I mean, nowadays everything, everybody's got a phone with a camera on it, selfie camera, your laptop. I'm on the laptop here, got the camera. But if they don't, or they don't want to do it, you can still do audio through Zoom and Skype. And one thing that people forget all the time is Facebook Messenger, because on Facebook Messenger, you can just click call as you're in, a text. Sometimes I do readings. I was saying in the green room before we started, I do a lot of readings just on text, and I'm actually pretty good at it now. But one thing you can do, is that a dog? That is the biggest
cat.
That is the biggest cat I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, the cat's bigger than Corby. But with voice to text, it's actually faster now. I used to actually type it all out, and now I just hit the little microphone and I go, okay, so I have this card and I'm seeing this and I see this and I see that, and it's making it in text, and I just click send, they just ask their questions back, but it's so easy because you can just you can do video and voice, or just voice, right on Facebook Messenger. Why even, you don't even need to bother with Zoom and Skype if you don't want to. It's most people are on Messenger, and most people can get on their phone, and most people, their phone has, a camera, so you can do it. Let's see, what else was I going to say about that? The other thing I wanted to mention that I had personally, it was in the green room again. I was talking with Pamela before nearly everybody showed up, about email readings. And we were talking about how, a lot of us actually charge less for email readings, because in person, well, we have to be there in front of the camera and do our hair and get all dressed up and stuff like that. And, do our, we charge, oh, you just want an easy email reading? Send me $50, right? Pamela and I were talking about how we spend, because we're both perfectionists, we spend more time on email readings than we do just chatting with you. Because when we're chatting with you here, it's like, okay, here's this card, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, we're done. No. First of all, I don't put it in the body of the email. I sit there and I'm in Word, and I'm making a Word document, and I'm putting this. It's like, okay, wait, does that sentence sound better? Yeah, I think I better move that up here. It sounds better before this sentence. Okay, I'm going to take pictures, laying out the spreads. Okay, I'm going to install the, put the picture on my laptop from my phone. Now, okay, now I'm going to get it onto the document. Wait, I got to save as a PDF so that everybody can open it. And 3 hours later, you're done with your email reading, where, online on Zoom, you did, 20 minutes. So that's something I want to bring up too, that, maybe you shouldn't charge less for your email. In fact, maybe you should charge a little more, what I like about email is, I do want to mention real quick, is that I feel I do better readings with email. And I know that's going to sound weird, right? Because when you're doing live, you could do conversation and more questions come up, pull more cards, you get deeper. But the thing is that I like them sending me their information. I do their numerology. They send me their questions. I start pulling cards. I walk away. I come back. I look at it again. I have fresh insight. I go and I have dinner. I come back. I go get a latte. I come back, spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, gonna finish typing it all up. Okay, mail. I like that where I can take break. If you're in the middle of a live Zoom session, you can't take a break. I like being able to. This set of cards just isn't making sense. I'm gonna go make tea. And then I go make tea and I come back and I'm like, of course, now I see it. It's like, that's what I love about email readings is, I actually think I do better with them. Anyway, ran over. Who else does email readings? And, does anybody have any comments? Pam?
Well, that's just it. I did start charging more for my email readings because I like I told you in the beginning, I write books. I don't just write out readings. And it's not that I intend it that way. It's just kind of the way it works. But what I do get first, and this is something that I also mentioned, is I always get permission. I mean, could you read for me? Yeah. Okay. Well, I need a little bit more than that. I need to know, would you please read for me? And this is kind of your overview. And oh, by the way, can I have your birthday? Like, not personally to take it away from you, but can I know it? Because a lot of times what I will do, excuse me, before I even start doing the reading is I will figure out their birth card, their soul card, and their year card. So that gives me a foundation where I'm going to go from. And that takes a good half an hour. So yeah, my email readings are no longer as affordable as they were, let's say, but you're going to get a whole lot more in them. And I like them. I like them a lot. But I still prefer the one-on-one. I want somebody sitting across from me, but if they can't be across from me, then let's sit down and do a video chat, because that way, I'm not reading your body language. I'm not doing anything like that, but I will break every once in a while and say, are you still with me? Do you understand? Is there anything else that you're not, did I miss something here? Or was something unclear? Because when I'm doing the reading, I don't care if it's email, I don't care if it's Zoom, sitting, it doesn't matter. That person, the one person that I'm reading for, is the most important person in my life. No one else matters right then at that moment. They've got my undivided attention and they've got my full focus. And with that, I think it takes all the scary out of whatever type of reading, whether you're reading in person, online, on the phone, it doesn't matter.
I was just thinking that whether I'm going to end up on a Zoom session pulling cards or not, versus doing an email reading, I still spend an hour just calculating out their 9-number chart and doing a full numerology report, which I then send to them. It adds added value to my readings. Sometimes if I'm doing shorter readings, like I have the 15-20 minute ones where I just get their birth date, I just get their life path and attitude number, their personal year number, and that's it. I don't do the whole thing, and I just pop right on and start doing the reading. But most of the longer sessions, I'm spending at least an hour on just the numerology report. Anything else you want to throw in there?
No, that kind of, there again, another thing, I insist, if I'm not, doesn't matter with email readings because they got it in front of them in a PDF, but as far as video readings or readings in person, record it. Don't ask me to record it. I will, but it's gonna cost you because it takes me forever to send a file that big. But I will be showing you. I will be showing you cards. We will be doing all this. I will explain the spread to you if I'm using one, and I want you to record it so that you have it for later. And I don't care what you record it on. Just get it recorded. Because don't come back to me. Don't come back to me in 3 or 4 days and say, "What did you mean by?" Because I won't remember. I won't remember 20 minutes after you leave. I have no clue what you're talking about.
that's
recording.
another thing I really love about Zoom, especially the pro version. And Mary and I were talking about on the radio show yesterday, and I'll hit on that in a minute, but let's go to Corby. Corby had something.
Yeah, I got stuff. All right, I charge per time, whether it's live with me or email what. It's like I just did a Finding Your North Star reading today that I charge through the roof for because I use 6 or 7 different methodologies, the full numerology. I explain it and then I channel for them.
Wow.
And I have GarageBand on my old laptop and I record it for them and send it to them through mailbigfile.com, which is a great inexpensive uploading service. Can I share screen? Did you fix it? So could you fix it so we could all
Oh
share?
yeah, sure. Can you repeat while I'm doing that? Can you repeat that again? The name of the service you use?
Hey,
Yes, mailbigfile.com. That way, I mean, you know, my soul plane readings, everything, I record it and send it. Even my 5-minute
love that.
readings. So, all right, I can share screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example. This is what I have. This is the Acuity scheduling thing. When you come to me and you have a reading, notice I've got a form question for every single thing that I do. It gives you the description, first visit, what is the one question, full name on the birth certificate, current name, birth date, phone number in case I need clarification, email, how did you find me? And the 2 most important things, please check this box to indicate you read and agreed to our privacy policy and this one about our cancellation policy. So they can't come back to you and say, but. And when they do this, then you've got the information right there. You can simply go do it. I think that a scheduling app like Acuity is really, really important because it converts time zones for you. If I have a client in Kolkata, India, they're going to book it according to my schedule. They'll have to work that way. And then Acuity tells them, well, that is X time where you are. So when you've got that, there's no mixing up the time zones. You can set your schedule. I mean, if you want to be available for clients in Britain at 10 in the morning their time, you have to figure backstory. 10 o'clock their time would be 5 a.m. my time. So if you want to do that, that's great. But realize when you become international, you are going to have to stretch your hours to be convenient for everybody.
Yes. And by the way, can I just throw in that email readings then can become even more important, like because they can order it in their time and you can fill it out during your time and you can just send it to them. You know, I'm just saying that's another plus on the side of email readings is you don't have to schedule to be there right when they're awake and you should be asleep because it's 3 a.m.
That's exactly right.
Just throw that out there.
And you know, the more easier you can make it for your clients to schedule, the better. I mean, do you really want to have to match up with somebody calling you from Berlin?
Yeah.
Back and forth. No.
Well,
they're right on the scheduler. It's there.
Let me ask you this, Corby. There's apps that kind of let you do it the other way. Like you block out all the times that you're available and they go to the counter and they click and choose.
That's what I do on Acuity.
Oh, okay. You can do it on Acuity. That was my question.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've never heard of Acuity, but I've seen a lot of other scheduling apps and most of them let you do that. And it's really cool because I don't work on Thursday afternoons, but I work Thursday morning, this, you know, and it translates it automatically to their time and they can go, well, okay, I'll wake up at 6 a.m. in Australia and get on a call with that.
Here, let me show you. I'm pulling it up now.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so here's your calendar. I've got group 1, which are the simpler readings. Group 2 is soul plane readings. here is my usual time. I work 6 days a week, 3 evenings a week. But then when you want to edit the limits, it takes you right to what is it for this month, which is valuable. For instance, I'm driving out to see a friend in Massachusetts tomorrow morning. She's in town. So for tomorrow, I don't have my normal hours. It's just 7 to 9 at night. You change it right there. And you don't worry about it changing on your standard calendar. Standard calendar will still go. You can set how close they can schedule. For instance, some readings you can schedule within 2 hours if I have time. When I know you have to have homework, you're not going to find me until 2 weeks out, because I want you to have time to do what you need to do. And the calendar has it all there. They don't make mistakes. They don't say, but you said. You just point them there and it's in writing. And Acuity is not expensive. It is not thousands a year. If you're just a one person, it's nothing. It's, I think, maybe 150.
Right. Oh,
Actually, Corby, I was actually going to ask you how Acuity is in comparison to Calendly.
I don't know.
Because,
I like Acuity better because of the intake forms and things. I know a lot of people use Calendly for their podcasts, but I never looked at it. I've used Acuity now for about 7-8 years.
Okay.
And it never failed me.
Okay, I'll have to check that out because I'm familiar with Calendly. Can you take payments and process payments through Acuity?
Absolutely.
Okay.
oh, good.
That's one thing I'm going to tell you for remote. Listen to me carefully, everybody watching this. You do not do a reading until the money is in your hand.
Yes.
Ever.
Thank you.
And I have it set up in Acuity so that you book it and you're immediately taken to PayPal. You know, paid, you don't get the appointments. And there are certain readings that I say non-refundable. If you're paying me $24.95 for a 5-minute reading, no, you don't get to say, I don't like it, give me my money back.
No.
Suck it up.
And that's another thing is like, you know, we're talking about, and I want to get to, don't let me forget here. I want to talk about tools, paid Zoom, and talk a little bit about, you know, you're running a business, you're going to have to spend a little money.
Yes.
But before we get into that, just real quick to go back to, oh shoot, now I forgot. What were you just saying?
Yeah, can I say something about, we were talking, Pam was talking about
Go ahead.
the recordings and how troublesome that was. But I'm in a Saturday morning class that runs about 2 to 2.5 hours, and it's run by an 80-something-year-old elderly woman. And within 10 minutes, it's on Zoom. She emails us a link to the entire recording. So I don't know why that couldn't be an easy option.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't understand why.
Well, okay. Let me. I was going to go over all this with that, and so it's a good lead in. Let's just jump into. I was in a conversation yesterday. I can't remember if it was on the radio show or in the green room with Mary yesterday, and she was asking me about doing the remote readings and about Zoom. She has the free Zoom, you know, and about recordings and all that kind of stuff. And something else came up too. I think it had to do with, we were talking about text readings. Well, you can do text readings, right? I have it open right now. The text, the chat here, you can do it on Zoom. You can do audio on Zoom, and you can do video and audio on Zoom. You can do it all on Zoom. And, you know, I told her the pro version is $14.99. And she said, it's only 14. Yeah, it's only $14.99. And, you know, yeah, everybody wants to find the free version of the calendar app, the free version of the video conferencing, the free. But sometimes, you know, you got to spend a little to make a little, right? You know, it's only $14.99 for the pro version. And what's nice about that is they recently changed it on Zoom. They cut it down to the free, they cut it down to 40 minutes. And so now you can go unlimited if you get the pro version, and you hit record and it's recording the whole thing. And you can record at the cloud, but I always record in my device, my computer, my laptop. I don't want to lose it and I don't want to have to download it. The nice thing about putting it in the cloud is you can give the nice link to people to go to. But the problem with that is you only have so much storage. Okay. And that's why what was it you guys call that? Mail big file is a better way of doing it. Now, this is the thing. You hit record like I'm doing right now for the workshop. And when you say your goodbyes and end the Zoom, it's going to process and put a file folder right on your desktop. And when you open up that file folder, what's really cool is it's got not just the MP4, the video with the audio, but let's say you did an audio only call on Zoom, or you only want the audio. Well, it has that file separate too. It has an MP3. Not only that, if they just want to text with you, you can get on here and text with them, and it automatically transcribes it. It transcribes it, folks. All this for $14.99. It's totally worth it, and
You sold me. You sold me on it, because I didn't know when we were talking about it yesterday that it did all that, because technology has changed an awful lot. You used to be able to easily record a phone conversation and just send an MP3 of that.
Sure.
That's what I
and you
used
can
to
still
do.
do that with Skype, and they have free recording systems, but go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, and I was going to mention Skype too, but yeah, I don't know. I was under the impression that it was like some crazy expensive undertaking, and
They
you
might
sold
have an
me on the
enterprise
14.
level, but
Mm.
I think you can do everything with the Pro.
Yeah.
And if I'm not
Awesome.
wrong, it's $14.98 or $14.99 or something.
Well, and you can write that off as a business expense.
Right. These are all business expenses. Same thing with your calendar program, like Corby was mentioning. Pay for it, folks. It's going to pay for itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So who's read on, you got something quick, Gary?
Well, I just wanted to touch on one thing that you made reference to, which was
Sure.
value added, and how you do the numerology charts for people. I would suggest that anyone who's going to do readings remotely, whether it's an email reading, especially if it's a video reading, send them the recording for free.
Oh, sure.
Give them some value added, whatever it is that you can tie in to it, because it's just going to make them feel more valued. Find whatever is your unique in, if you want to tie it into some branding, what makes you uniquely you. With Dax, it's numerology. Maybe it's astrology. Maybe it's Reiki. Maybe it's giving them a meditation based on the reading. Whatever you can give
Mary
them.
has her crystal.
Well, maybe it's a crystal. Whatever you can do to bring value and to add value to that person and make yourself stand out is going to be a benefit.
I know people that take the audio and they run it through a transcription service and send them the document.
And Dax, I'm going to pop in my favorite transcription service. I just put it in the chat. It's rev.com. They are computer driven, so you're going to get it delivered fine. They are 90 to 95% accurate, and they're like $1 a minute. So if you're doing a 30-minute reading, it's going to cost you about $30 to get the transcription.
Well, it depends. If you're one of those $499 an hour readers, you can afford that. Just throwing that out there. Do some research. There might be a free version of it. There might be an easier way to do it. I don't know. It was just a suggestion. Maybe that's a little bit too much, doing transcripts, but you get the idea. Something you can, give people like that. Let's see, Mary, I want to get you in here, and especially about, doing the services, reading services, websites. Who reads through a service? So we got a few people that read through services. Great. Okay, so we'll start with Mary, and then any other wisdom that you guys have, Sharona, Corby. Mary, what do you want to say about, how does somebody become successful reading through a Random or Keen or California Psychics?
Right. Well, I think you become successful on those kind of services by, getting a feel for them. I think you really have to, you know, like anything, know your audience,
Do
um,
research.
and there's a lot of, I think you have to be flexible, and I think you have to be fast. And I
Mhm.
think you also have to make sure that when you do, like the service I work on, people find me through my page on that service. Okay. And it has a description. I give them a little background about me, what my approach is to doing readings, a little bit of what I believe about what a reading is and what happens, and also what I offer, you know. And so you want to make sure that you're describing what you do, and who you are as a reader in a very accurate way, and that you walk that talk, because if you're promising all kinds of crazy stuff, and a lot of people promise like crazy stuff that's like not realistic, and then somebody gets a reading from them and it's like, oh my gosh, I thought you were going to be channeling Jesus during our reading, and that didn't happen, like whatever it is, and we're all psychic, we're all intuitive, we're all terrific, we're all whatever. But if you're going to say, oh, I'm 100% accurate, and I'm going to make sure that the the great Pooh Bear in the sky comes through for you, I mean, you're kind of overselling something and falling short on the delivery. So, and you live or die on those services, at least for the ones I work on, based on feedback. That means every person that you do a reading for that's over, like, say, 5 minutes, they're going to rate you, 1 to 5 stars, depending on what the rating system is on that service. They're going to leave a comment, what they thought of the reading. Did they think you were accurate? Was it helpful to them? Were you paying attention? And I think it helps to look through a lot of the other readers on those services, look through their feedback file. What kind of rating do they have? If people have a complaint about them, what is it? And I've done that, and and I do it from time to time because I find it interesting to see what it is that people are enjoying when they get a reading, and what it is that they're not enjoying when they get a reading. If you don't sound to them, because like for me, I work almost like 99% of all the readings I do are through a service. And so that's why I was asking you about recording and stuff for doing readings off a service, because I never have to do that. The reading services don't do that. But you're serving a clientele, and so I'm not trying to talk anybody out of it or anything, but for one thing, there's readers out there that the client isn't even sure that they're using a deck of cards for a tarot reading. They're not sure that they even answered the question that was being asked. So a lot of those things that you discover that people care about, that are members of those services, as a client getting readings from the readers that are working on those services, that may require you to sort of adapt. We have a lot of different ways of working as a tarot reader, or different ways of approaching it, different beliefs about what we're doing. There's a lot of people that think it's always going to be empowering. I'm going to change every question that they ask me, or I'm not even going to take questions, or whatever. If you're set in your ways about those types of things, and you're not willing to adapt to the audience that you're serving, you're not going to do very well. And it might not be for you. However, if it is for you, and you are flexible and you are adaptable, and you want to serve that particular client base, then you can do really great on there. But like Gary mentioned, consistency, so people know when that you're available, is always going to be helpful. And also, it's really great to work for a service that advertises on national TV. People don't have a hard time trying to find you. So to me, I've always seen that. I never tried to, sell through my own website or open up a shop or whatever, because I thought, no way you make money that way. How are they ever going to find you? And then you're limited to your locale if you're doing it in person, or you're just a little blip in the giant universe of websites, online. So there's definitely advantages, but you've got to make sure that you can work that way.
I think that's one of the big trade-offs is the time factor, that you have to consistently be there, not just Saturdays between 1 and 3. I mean, you got to be there every day, multiple hours. You got to make the commitment.
But it depends. It used to be that way. I know it used to be that way. I remember talking to, older readers that were like on the Psychic Friends Network and everything. And they worked like dogs and were always available like you're talking. But no, I'd set my own hours.
Mm-hmm.
I just had
you
consistent.
absolutely set your own hours. But I would think in the beginning I'd be consistent. I'd want to be consistent. I'd want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's the big thing for me. Why
you can set appointments too. Some people just work through appointment on those services too.
But I'm just saying that there's trade-offs. You got to remember. I know a lot of people complain, well, yeah, but XYZ service takes 50% of the revenue or 60% of the revenue. To me, that's a specious argument because they are getting you the clientele. And so if you normally charge $250 a minute, well, then if they take 50%, charge $5 a minute, you're still getting your $250 a minute. I mean, that's my theory on that. I've never wanted to do a service because back in the day, it was a big,
it was terrible.
Yeah. And, our big thing, I used to help people get onto services, especially Aranum was the big one. And it's very different than a lot of websites where, you go to the website, here's all the psychics, click on something, right? And on Aranum, it was more like you were presenting a TV show. And literally you were live the whole time you were on there. I mean, you could be in the mode, I can't remember what they call it, but there was a mode you could be in where you were available, but not on camera, but in order to actually make money and actually have people book with you on Aranum, the way it worked, you had to be on camera the entire time. And you'd be talking to the camera. You might be talking about a card, or you might be, oh yeah, I got this great crystal yesterday. I don't know. It'd be like QVC. How QVC does? It's QVC of psychic world. You got to be Vanna White. You got to be presenting constantly. You got to be talking. Some people actually got tired of that, and so they set up wrote everything out and had it scrolling across the screen while they were sitting there, I don't know, doing their nails or something. Anyway, and Aranum was really picky. I mean, your background had to be perfect. By the way, I want to say right away that Ignacio needs to start this afternoon. He has the perfect background with the bookcase, with all those books. He looks brilliant. He is the smartest guy I know. And I don't even know him that well. I mean, I just looking at his background, it's like, I want that. I don't have room for that in my room, or I would have a big, with all my books. All my books, by the way, they're all in boxes in storage. Yeah. Got like 1,000 tarot books and they're all in storage. But the thing with Aranum is, I mean, you had to make the commitment, I'm going to be on here, and you were there like 6 hours. Yeah. You could get up and quick, go run, get some tea.
I don't.
And there was one thing I wanted to mention, Mary, before you jump in, is that they started figuring ways around it. So I would see some of the psychics on there. They would have, nowadays we have ear pods and stuff, but AirPods, whatever they call them. I'm old. catching up on the technology here. But back then, we had the wired, and so you had the two, the go in your ear, you'd only have one in this ear, and you would face to the camera like this on a slight angle. They couldn't see the wire going out the back. You're on camera, but right down here is your television set, and you're watching as the world turns while you're waiting for your next client. And there are tricks. There are tricks to doing a random. I used to teach people how to do a random. You could actually be watching a movie, you're watching Avengers, wow. And then you're just occasionally, smiling at the camera, holding up a card. Absolutely means absolutely nothing. You're just like, just till somebody starts talking to you in the chat, and then they take you private for a reading. Anyway, I wanted to get that out. What were you going to say, Mary?
Well, and it's like I've talked to, people that worked on, other service. I don't know if Bitwine is still a thing, but I remember like a lot of people working on that for a while. And,
I did do that.
look, what I like is that you can set your own, rates,
Mhm.
and I recommend anybody, look at, what people are charging, but look at also like the people that are really like getting a lot of calls, what they're charging, not like the person because it gets kind of weird. Because like some people will set a rate really high. So you'll look and you're like, wow, they somehow get, $50 a minute. Like, how does that work? Like who are the millionaires that are just a clientele that belong to this psychic service, as
They're out
clients?
there.
But what they'll do is that'll be the rate, and then they'll run a special. You book an appointment with me, you get this special rate, and they'll drop it down to like $4 a minute, something like that. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Bait and switch is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There's some people that do
Yeah.
that. I was talking to another reader on the same service who was telling me about that. But for me, I've been doing it solid. This is my only job that I've been doing, working on this service since I left Hollywood and moved to Texas in 2012. And I was doing it a little bit part-time before then, but I usually tell people also, when you first start out, yeah, it's going to be a little hard because you have no feedback, you have no stars, you have nothing to speak for you, and, you may have to charge a lower rate to start building up that profile, and then, go on from there. And, the other thing is when you charge too little, then you get the people that want, they, I remember like, I was charging like something like 99 cents a minute or something, because I thought I'm new, I can't charge more than that probably. I have zero feedback. And I was getting like creepy guys that wanted a chakra reading, focusing on their lower chakras, if you understand. And I was just
Oh
like,
my
wow.
God. This is
It
the other
was
thing you
really-
deal with, people.
It was really tricky. And then, you can block people on the service I'm in. So I'm, blocking the perverts and the weird people out. And then I was like, I'm not charging enough. And so I raised my rate, and I just kind of, I work 5 days a week. I like working 5 days a week. Not for some people that might be too much, or maybe they want to work 7 days a week, but you're only really in a competition against yourself, even though there's a whole bunch of other readers on these services, like there are in the wild, as I call it, as well. So, if you really want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, a couple things on that, just to give some quick tips. Most of these services do your first 3 minutes are free kind of thing. You got to be really fast, and you got to give them good stuff quick. If you're going to rope them in for longer than that, if you're brand new, hey, call it a business expense, hire a bunch of your friends to come on, get readings with you, and post good reviews. You know, I mean, you might have to prime the pump a little bit. I'm just saying. And Corby,
Don't get caught though, because you'll get
oh,
kicked
no,
off the service.
You
Yeah.
don't get caught because it's against their TOS. Oh, absolutely. You know, of course. I mean, I would never tell you
Yeah.
legal things to do. I'm telling you the illegal thing. You know, I'm giving you the sneaky stuff, folks, on how to, you know, you got to prime the pump. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people do it, you know, but you got to be on the down low about
I
it.
wish
You know?
I would have done that. I wish I would have done that instead of creepy chakra readings for creepy people in the beginning.
Remember,
Like,
remember and this is not just for reading on services or reading online, just reading for seeing any client for anything. I don't care if it's hypnosis, Reiki, whatever it is, you know, the amount that you charge is exactly equivalent with the type of client you're going to get. The quality of client is based on what you're charging, you know. And yeah, in the beginning you might have to charge a little bit less, you know, but you know, ratchet it up as quickly as possible so you get out of that range of people that will pay the little amount and come on and harass you. You know, you want to get people that that are going to take your advice seriously. That's the other factor. You know, you're charging $40, and we've said this on various workshops and radio shows that we've done, presentations we made, that, you know, you're charging $40, you know, they're not going to take your reading as seriously as if you're charging $120 for the hour. I'm just saying.
well, and one thing that also, you know, that I experienced starting out, and I think you can have that happen whether you work remotely or not, is that, hey, you know, sometimes there's going to be somebody you do a reading for, and you're doing your best. It's a solid reading, and maybe they just don't like the information, and maybe, you know, they're mean about it. You know, sometimes people are jerks, you know, and so you can't let that, you gotta like shake that off as soon as you can, because I remember like just crying, you know, at times, and thinking like, how I'm not going to be able to do this, and just getting so upset. And, you know, and I know there's other
Gotta have
people
a
out
thick
there.
skin.
Yeah, you have to kind of develop that, and you have to also try to be objective about the criticism that you get. And if there's something that is pointed out to you that you can make an improvement on, you know, and either your, you know, the way that you're delivering information, or maybe, you know, like me asking you about how to do a recording. I did a reading for someone who wanted a recording, you know, off of the service. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, how do I do that? Well, now you've given me great advice, and I can change that. So that criticism on the recording was really helpful, because I wouldn't have thought about it otherwise. But, you know, sometimes people are going to make you feel really lousy though, by criticizing how you do it. And you got to understand you're not the only one that's happening to, and shake it off, and, you know, do what you can to be the best reader that you can be, because it can be like really awful.
Well, you know, it reminds me of Yelp and all these other, you know, anything where it's a 5-star thing. That's another thing I don't like about it, is the whole rating concept, because you're at the mercy of, you know, popularity contest attitude, you know, with stuff. I just don't like that. It's the whole thing, you know, to me, it's private readings versus public readings. And if you're going to do public readings, you got to have a thick skin. You got to have some strategies. Corby, what's your best practices, best advice?
Well, I did California Psychics for a while, but I was so pissed I wanted to hit him upside the head with the clue break and read him the time. So, since probably 2008, I have gone with Best Psychics Directory. Now, this is top of the mark. You are going to get tested. On there, you can be average, or you can pay to be a featured person. It's $99 a month. But I make that in a week, and I'm not on all the time. I have it background for me.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm working and all of a sudden my phone rings with a Hell on Wheels theme song, and that's specifically for Best Psychics Directory, and I immediately answer it.
Gotta
Again,
have ringtones.
oh, yay, ringtones, I'll tell you. All right, I'm gonna show you. This is my page on Best Psychics. Has specialties, instant reading scheduled, and how to call me, the description. They give you a space for a little video so you can tell people who you're like. You've got your reviews. Now, here is the homepage. Let's say that somebody wanted a good past life person. They go into the specialties, they hit past life psychic readings, and they look on this side, and immediately there I am. Notice that there is a gold frame around me. That means that I'm at the top. I will always appear at the top of the page. Otherwise, people are always lower than that. Now, doing it that way, and I charge $6.99 per minute for on the phone, $7.99 for chat, you're only going to get people who really do want your information. You're not going to get the guys who want to roll you. And I can have it on the background for days, and I may only get a few calls that week, but at the end of the week, they send me $100, $200, $300. So that is in addition to the work I do with my own website, podcasts, things like that. If you're going to be a remote reader, the more you can interleave things, the better it is.
Streams of income.
I do podcasts, people hear me and they say, wow, I really like her. They come to me for a reading. I do a free reading hour once a month on my Facebook business page. Then they love the quick 2-minute reading. They come to me for a full reading. You absolutely can make money remote. I maybe do 3-4 shows a year when I used to do 45 on the road. It's all remote now, but it's because you're pulling strings like macrame from everywhere you go. And yes, you're going to have to spend money in the beginning. But if you're serious about what you want to do, that will pay off so fast. Really, really will. As far as now, Mary, where are the places that you read? What websites?
Keen.
Yep.
I do
It
Keen.
used to be Cassamba. Did they used to be Cassamba?
No.
No.
Okay, 'cause I
Cassamba's a
used to read
different
on
one.
Cassamba way back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of our friends actually bought Cassamba. It was about 5 years ago.
What is it now?
It's still Cassamba, but it's owned by somebody else now. But yeah.
And you know, there are so many out there, and it's true. Yeah, they're going to take 50%, but they're the ones who are siphoning the people into you.
They're paying big bucks to advertise you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to set up the entire situation where you get your number and they call, and they're all of the background tech is big bucks.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You gotta get
we
paid.
wanted to do that at the guild, but I have to get rich first before we can afford the
Mhm.
setup. The setups are unbelievable. I looked into it for years, going back about 8 years. Looked
Yeah.
into this. It's so expensive to start a service. You know, they got to make the money somehow.
So
Make the money back that they spend too, and then the
Yes.
advertising. You know, and the service that you're on, you know, I mean, most of them you don't have to pay anything if you don't want to, but
you don't there either.
but what you said about paying $99, I mean, it's still honest to God, you cannot get advertising that cheap. You can't.
You can't. And that guarantees that you'll be bumped to the top of the queue anytime somebody wants what you do.
Was that 99 per week or per month or
Per month.
per month?
$99 per month. I am one of their
Pump you
featured
up.
readers, and I guarantee within the first week that I'm on, it always gets paid. So I'm never
Nice.
out money during the month.
Well,
That's a great
and
suggestion.
Keen has a featured thing too, where it's not per month. I mean, they may have that option, I don't know, but say that, and I did this a lot when I was starting out, you can choose to bid on the upper slots. And so you
Yeah, some
set
have bidding. Some do have
how
bidding.
much how much money you want to bid on being featured. And then they also have another option where you can participate in all their promotions. So they run the 3 minute, free 3 minutes, free 5 minute deals or whatever. And they also do, I mean, I there's no way ever in my lifetime I would ever be able to afford national TV spots to let people know about my website. It's just not going to happen. But
Hmm.
but what it just depends, on how you want to work it.
Yep, absolutely. Logistics, any logistics stuff we can think, get a decent webcam if you don't. Fortunately, I bought a new laptop that has a 1080p. Most laptops still have the 720s. The ones coming out this year have, I don't want to say most, but a large percent of them have the higher definition 1080p. Before going back to the Iran days, before laptops were starting to get the 1080ps, I went out and I bought this. So I've got my webcam, which is a 1080p, and on a tripod, and I just plug it into my computer. Have a decent microphone if you can do that. Background, talked about background. If you have something like Ignacio, you're doing really good. And actually everybody's looks good. Ellie's looks good. And let's see, Gary, you have a bookshelf too, and I love the wall hangings with the the tarot. I think that's just awesome. If you want to do the more look at Corby's, she's got the star field. If you want to do that, I went out and made this thing here. I grabbed some images of the wall hangings that Ciro Marchetti does, and it's all images and symbols from his decks, and I just put a few of them together, made a background, put on our logo and the tarotguild.com and everything. I can make one of these for you, and I'm cheap. It won't cost you much. I'll pop in Photoshop and I'll work with you to get the color scheme you want, the logo you want. If you want a nice background to do remote readings over Zoom, and actually most of the services now allow you to put a virtual background in. You used to, back in the day, unless you were going to pay to put up green screen and everything like that, we actually put a lot of time into our backgrounds. I mean, I bought wall hangings that would go on the wall, and set up the you got the little plant here, and you got the crystal over here, and all this kind of stuff. Nowadays you don't have to do that because we have virtual backgrounds, and you can just throw something up there, and whatever your preference is. Maybe you want to be out in nature, maybe you want to have a nice skyscraper behind you. The Golden Gate Bridge is my favorite. So I
How
can
do you upload them?
just get a hold of me. How do you upload? Right through the Zoom. So if you're on here with Zoom with us right now, you just click on where it says the video, stop video. I'm stopping my video. You click on the video there, and there's a little arrow, and then you click choose virtual background. And then you can upload it. It comes with some. And another thing you can do, for instance, let me go in here. So another thing you can do, for instance, is do blur. I don't know if, is that showing, folks?
No, you
Not yet.
have to,
Oh,
you're
I
still
see
hot.
it.
So you can just
Got it.
blur the background. I think earlier.
There's a little X. You can, it says choose background and you can upload it off the computer. So that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, you can have
Thank you.
no background, you can blur it, and then you can put up your whatever background you want to put up.
Well, my favorite option is to touch up my appearance. That's that option on under video settings. It says touch up my appearance or adjust for low light. So those are options too under the settings.
Yeah, Mary and I were just talking about that. I said, we really should be, smoothing our skin out with the adjustment, where is that anyway? I want to find
It's under video settings at the very bottom. You click on the arrow and then at the very bottom of options is video settings.
video settings. Yeah.
And then you open it up and there's like 12.
That's so cool.
It's under video. And then it says mirror my video or
Mirror my video.
Touch up my appearance or adjust for low light.
See,
Wow.
on mine, it actually says studio effects and mirror my video. Click this if you have a green screen. There's video filters, but when I click on that, there's nothing in there.
How do you do this?
Yes,
where's
yeah,
the-
I'm not seeing it on mine.
Okay, under
Settings and
mine,
video.
under mine, and I don't have the professional package, I just have the plain vanilla. On the stop video button, there's an arrow that points up and you click that arrow.
Mhm.
You don't stop your video, but you click that arrow and and one of the, under select a camera,
Oh, there it is.
you go down at the
I
very
don't-
under video
Ah.
settings, and under video settings, it gives you general video, audio, share screen, background and effects, recording, statistics, feedback, keyboard shortcuts, and accessibility. Well, under video, and if you hit video, which is the second option, under mine, it comes up camera and then my video. And under my video is where the touch up my appearance is, or adjust for low light.
There we go. I think I'm smoothing my face out right now. Melody, you
That's right.
saved us all
We
us
all
old
look,
people.
we all look 20 years younger now.
We can,
and
we
then-
can smooth out our face a little bit here. Melody
I
saved us.
don't know. I don't know because it's like, is that, do we think that's a good thing? I mean, it's kind of a good thing, but is it honest? I don't feel like it's honest. Like if
Well,
you're doing it as a
Honest in what
professional.
way? I mean, if you think about it, first of all, I hate using most, okay, that's not correct. A lot of readers still do the anonymous thing, tarot,
Sure.
tarot by Melissa, and your name is Judy. So already they're being dishonest, but it's not really being dishonest. They're just being anonymous. And
They have a show name.
yeah,
Thank you.
and
Elton John.
yeah, and look
Hello.
at Elton
John
John
Dwight.
dressing up in the, and look, every single person that has a show on every single network and every show, I mean, they're all, in doing the heavy makeup and the wigs and the,
Well, I think it also adjusts for weird, like I'm sitting in front of a mirror and I've got a light on behind me.
Mhm.
And what it also does.
there's a
is
low
it
light
just-
adjustment on it, I saw.
Well, and it also adjusts
Pretty
for just
cool.
weird effects that make you look
Am I
strange.
smoothed out more? I kind of
You-
like this.
You-
Anyway,
Anyway, I use it.
I love it. I love it. It's great. Thanks for that tip. You've saved us all now, especially those of us that are over 60 or about to be over 60. Anyway. See, lots of great tips and tricks here at the Tarot Guild, right? Earlier I had brought this up, the things we were going to talk about, and I'm trying to see if there's anything we didn't cover. We pretty much covered everything. As far
Ask Sharona.
as
Sharona didn't throw in her
Yeah.
2 cents
yeah, we
yet.
got to get Sharona to pop in here.
Yeah.
But hold on
I have a dog.
one second. I just wanted to mention Skype because Mary brought up she's going to bring up Skype, and Skype was such a big deal, especially Europeans, because that's how they communicated with us over here because we didn't have to pay the long toll back in the day, but it's kind of died down, and you can give a Zoom link to everybody. And I had everything set up, all the different ways of doing. I think nowadays, just pick one. That's my advice. I'm going with Zoom, and I'm just sticking with it, and you can give a link to somebody, they can pop in there with you. You don't have to cater to every single service there is, because the link will work on anybody that's on the internet, on almost any device, almost anywhere. So, I don't think you have to worry about having Skype and having Zoom and 3 or 4 other different things. But of course, most of us, we're still going to have Facebook Messenger, and you can just click, video call, audio call right from Messenger. And I love doing that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents there. And then Sharona, do you refer service too? And what do you want to throw in there? Any tips or tricks or?
Basically what Mary said. I mean, I don't read exclusively for service, but it's just something that I do for extra money.
Mhm.
But I think if I can just add anything, I know we probably have touched on it. The best advice that I was ever given in regard to this business is you either charge a lot or nothing at all. You give away stuff, or you charge, and then you have, for people who want it, you charge a lot. And the other thing that's important is to have products.
Yeah,
A tangible product.
that's multiple streams of income.
Exactly, but you either,
I know Gary's on board with this.
you either, but as far as for reading, you either give away your readings, and you say, that's part of my mission. I'm a reverend. I do this to help the world.
And that's fine.
But I have, I do have clients that pay a lot for it, and they don't mind. And they're great clients. They don't ask for the money back. I mean, you want to.
Right. That's what I was talking about, higher quality of clients.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, that you want to go for. Give away a lot of samples, have products so that, if you got that stream of income. But, if you're going to do a reading and you're going to put in the time to do it, just get your confidence up high that you will charge a lot for that. And the other thing too, I mean, the problem with the technology, and I've always lucked out because I live in New York City, and there used to be a lot of places that you could read at and do stuff. Nothing beats cash.
Yep. However, I do want to point out, with the modern technology and the new apps, that it's almost like cash. Yeah, because
no. It's that there's a paper trail.
Now that
I'm just gonna end it on that.
No, there are some apps that don't. You got to do your research, and you can. But the thing is, through a lot of these Cash App and right through Facebook, I'm back with Facebook Messenger. It does everything. You can send money from. You can send money from account to account without incurring fees. And that's the main thing.
If it's in a personal account, but not a business account.
I don't use I only have one account, Sharona. It all goes through the same account, whether it's business or not.
I can say
I don't have them separated. But what I'm saying is, even if you have a business account, you can still have them send it from personal account to personal account, and then guess what? You transfer it then into your business account. You can do it that way if you're keeping your money separate, and the accounting and everything like that. For readings, I don't go overboard with the accounting and everything, and what I like about Cash App and Facebook Messenger, and there's a whole bunch of them now, Google Wallet, and I mean, you can go on forever, but like you can make these transactions without the fees. Like it used to be, because I still take credit cards, of course. I use Stripe or Square or or PayPal. I mostly use Square now. And you're going to pay a processing fee, you know, if they're using their credit card and everything like that. But if they're in the United States, you can transfer money back and forth through Messenger, you know, and I wish it was worldwide, but I don't think it's rolled out yet worldwide quite yet. But yeah, great points. Trying to think if there's anything else with that. Getting paid. So that is something we really didn't touch on. And today it is just so easy. I mean, back in the day when the Tarot Guild first got online and we would teach these kind of workshops, we did have to get technical. And I mean, it was pre-PayPal. I mean, we had to talk about, you know, merchant accounts and business accounts and how to do this and how to, you know, transfer and wire money and do the, you know, don't even need to talk about it anymore. You know, talk to your local 12-year-old. They'll tell you how to transfer money on Cash App or something, you know, some similar wallet service. It is so easy. It is so easy. So does anybody that's still with us have any questions? Ignacio jumped out. Vita's here. Ellie's here. Is Melody still here? Oh yeah, Melody's still here. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, just chime in. You know, if there's something about remote reading remotely, whether it's the technology or the process or something like that. And this is the other thing. This is a more of a general discussion. And so through this, you know, I'm going to go back and watch it again. And if any of you guys, especially the staff members, if you have ideas for like parts of this that we should expand out into its own mini workshop, let me know. Because I feel like some of this could become other workshops, you know, like maybe we need a workshop just on Zoom. Maybe we need a workshop on best practices, microphones, cameras, backgrounds, what to wear. I don't know.
Workshop you should do, because I want to learn more about it, is doing Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Yeah, Patreon. Yeah, I think what's great about Patreon is if you're going to have a more of a lower expensive, I'm not saying this right, some kind of recurring payment that's not going to be that much. You know, you're going to have like $5, $10 or something, you know, something like that. And they join your Patreon and they get extra access to extra stuff. That's when
you should do, from what I understand, and I need to learn more about it. You have different tiers, so you can have people who just follow you. Right. Like a reading.
You can have one tier or you can have multiple.
And then you can have, I'm going to mentor you, and that is the price. And they can always drop it back and forth. It's a sliding scale. But I do think that
other streams of income, there you go.
Yeah, I do think that Patreon is something to look into.
Patreon's really great for content creators. I don't know too much as far as like for what we do.
The people that do.
Oh, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that I've never understood the concept of why to do it. Now, if Patreon was like Keen or Aranum or California Psychics, and they had a platform that by being on Patreon, they're bringing you clientele and advertising for you. Oh, absolutely. Then it's worth it. But if it's just a payment service and they're bringing nothing to, you're bringing the clients, you're doing the content, and you're going through Patreon just in order to organize the processing of the money coming in, then I don't see where it's worth it. Why am I giving 5 to 8% to Patreon when I already have a website with my own button on it?
Okay, Dax, may I because I've looked into Patreon and I've got some ideas turning in my head that I'd like to share.
Sure.
Because Sharona, I do see it as a viable option. And Dax, to directly answer your question, why would anybody go through Patreon? Is its residual income. The people who sign up for your Patreon, you know, every month you're going to get that cash. You're going to get that
Right.
payment. Boom, boom, boom.
Can I
So-
say one thing about that though first? Just
Go ahead.
before I know you got a lot more, but before you go on, I completely understand this, Gary. However, I can do reoccurring payment through my own website. Why am I paying Patreon to do it? Now, stay with me for a second. Now that I've said that, if you're not so technically inclined, if you want something simple, if you want to just set it and forget it, absolutely, I'm with you. I completely understand. Go ahead and set up a Patreon. Here's my Patreon link. Go over, pick your tier. 100% with you there, you know. But with just a little bit of work, you can create your own website to do all the same functionality. It doesn't cost anything to do it, and you're going to save 5 to 8% on all that residual income. That's
okay. So let me respond to that as I answer to Sharona. Where to start? Okay. First thing is brand recognition. If you are starting out, okay, if you are starting out as a nobody and you want to build a brand online, and this is simply brand building we're talking about, and that's what Patreon is excellent for. Okay, more people know Patreon than they know that tarot guy, at least at this moment. Okay, so if I'm creating content, and that's another section of Patreon, you have to be willing to make content, especially on YouTube. Okay, and you've got to remain consistent with this on your doing. Okay, if I am going to say to somebody watching my YouTube page, hey, you want to donate 20 bucks to me? Go to thattarotguide.com/donate. Not too many people are going to do that because they don't have a trust level with me. However, if they stumble across my video, or maybe they subscribe to my video channel, and I say, hey, listen, support my efforts in creating great content like this for you, join my Patreon and get free perks. Or get perks that are not available. More people are familiar and trusting of Patreon. So that is one reason why you do it. Now, Sharona, to let you know what's going on in my head, okay, the way I'm planning this out, is I'm looking at this as a 4-tier level. Okay, a dollar level that would get you just a, hey, thanks for supporting me. A $10 level that is going that, yeah, basically, yeah. A $10 level that is going to offer free videos and early access to videos on the YouTube. Okay, so these are videos that are going to be private on YouTube, or maybe take them to another platform only for these Patreons. Then we're going to have 2 other levels. Okay, one is what I'm calling is like a learning library, where I am setting up a membership site that's going to be full of free PDFs on tarot, on psychic development, on ABCD, as long as it can tie in. And that's going to be at a $25 a month level. By the way, that'll be on a separate membership site, which you can get to individually if you wanted to for the same 25 bucks. Okay. I'm also going to be having a member site that is going to give you tarot lessons, not the PDFs that we talked about, but these would be tarot lessons. It would be access to the courses that I'm going to be developing. These are going to be access to the books that I have written on tarot, and weekly content or monthly content that will keep building this membership site up, that you're going to be able to get from Patreon, and they all stack upon one another. So if you get it at the $1 level, you just get the hello, the thank you. You get it at the $5, you get everything in the $1 plus everything at the $5. If you take it at the 25, you get the reading library plus everything that came before it. If you get it at the 50, you get the $50, which is I think the membership level right now, plus everything that came before it. And then there's a higher level that's $100 a month that basically gives you both membership sites and everything else. Okay. The one thing I am finding with Patreon, and I'm simply just dipping my toe into it, so I am by no means an expert in this, is, and I said it before, you have to remain consistent. You've got to put out valuable content. I would also suggest, in addition to YouTube, as much as it pains me to say this, TikTok. Okay. Because the world is blowing up over TikTok. And if you can get something catchy in 30 seconds or less, you'll build a following. And Instagram, and then drive everything. And to Dax's point, this is the most important thing. When you're driving people to a point, pick one point. Drive them to Patreon, or drive them to your website, or drive them to your Etsy store, whatever you're doing. Okay. But Patreon is an excellent way of getting that residual income coming in. Yes, you can do it yourself. Why bother buying? Why bother giving Patreon 5 to 6% if they're not going to advertise and blah, 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 blah? Because they have the brand name recognition, number one. And they are there. They make it very easy for you because you don't have to develop your own website if you don't want to.
Well, they're
You can
very
just-
good too. They have a newsletter. So
Yeah.
every time you post something, it goes out to your members.
Yep.
You know,
Pay-
Gary
pay-
put up the card of the day, right
Yep.
into your mailbox.
Yep.
I mean, so I mean and then they organize it for you. So they're like, I don't, I kind of like it that it's kind of exclusive, that, my tribe, this is where they get me. And I don't, whatever, I mean, I think that's cheap what they charge. for
Yeah.
what you get.
And really, they don't charge up front. They take a percentage, right? And you could have, I'm going to use the term stretch goals. It's not really like a GoFundMe with stretch goals, but you could have them say, hey, listen, when I get $1,500 or $500 in monthly donations, I'm going to do a special 1 hour reading for just my Patreons, or whatever you're choosing to do. And they will keep that ticker going. You could also choose to say, here's what I make a month, or hide that. And to your point, yes, you can send out newsletters. You can speak to one or all or some of your mailing list, for lack of a better word, at the same time. Okay. They have a very easy system for posting a blog, for posting a video, for whatever, if you want to just put out Patreon only content. I think it will be very, very successful. The key again is time and consistency.
Yep. But that's key to everything. No matter what you do, you can't just like put in a lot of work one week and then walk away, and you got to, whatever you do that first week, you got to keep doing it over and over again.
Yep. And I will just use a little story of when I was running my podcast, Passionate Talk, a couple of years ago. And I had built that up to, between live and canned recordings, I think I was up to about 2,000 or 4,000 listens a week, which for me was very good. I know there are podcasts that have much more than that. And I went away for 2 weeks and I didn't post anything for 2 weeks, and I didn't have a live podcast for 2 weeks. And those numbers dropped to like 10 and had to be rebuilt up again.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So Patreon, I think, is an excellent, excellent way, especially remote, because you not only to use as your central hub, if you want to do that.
Yeah,
because
and
you can do.
There's a lot of ways to do it, though. I just want to, put it out there from my point of view. I wasn't saying don't do Patreon. I was
Yeah.
just saying that there's other ways of doing it. Not everybody's heard of Patreon. Half the people I know never even heard of it. People my age and older, it's like, Patreon what? They never even heard. So the brand recognition thing, and
Well, that also
giving you
goes,
gravitas,
that
they're gonna work
also,
for my
well, but
people,
that's the key. You have to know your people,
Yeah.
right?
You gotta know
If you're if you're
I'd rather
and I'm gonna get a little into marketing here and marketing
Okay, let's not
BS.
go too far into. Remember, we're doing a workshop on
This is, well,
remote
it
reading.
relates,
This has
it
nothing
relates
to
to,
do-
well, right, I understand that. And
Yeah.
if you're going to work remotely, then you have to pick your audience. So if you're going to pick a 25 to 30-year-old crowd, if that's what you want, if you want the Gen Z or whatever they're
Mhm.
called now, forgive me if I'm insulting anybody, then TikTok would be the way you go, right?
Oh,
If you
absolutely.
want to go business people, then LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
Facebook is the way to go. If you want to go Hollywood elite, then you take out an ad in Variety. You have
Yeah.
to know who you're going towards, right?
Uh-huh.
So if your demographic is 35 and older, right, or 50 and older, our age, with the exception of Ellie, if that's it, then no, you're probably going to have a hard time getting traction there. If
Mhm.
your demographic is Gen Z, if it's the TikTok generation, then they're going to know it right out of the bat. So
Yeah.
you have to know who you're going for remotely. And yes, it does tie into remote, because similar to what Pam was saying before, email to chat to Zoom, that's also, how do you want to work? Who do you want to work with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And there's other things that are going to come through, and there's going to be people that are more comfortable with these new platforms or older platforms. As far as I'm trying to get back to the remote reading, like actually physically doing it. It used to be Skype, now it's Zoom. It might become something else. And there's still Facebook voice call and chat to use as well. It doesn't have the functionality. You can't, unless you get a third party service app, third party app or something like that on your computer that's going to record it. That's what I like about Zoom is everything is in Zoom. Even Skype, you still have to get a third party way of recording it. I love the fact that Zoom does everything. And so that's, the thing that I'm going with. And the reason why I'm trying to move people away from, my clients away from Skype, Facebook, unless it's just something quick, they want to talk to me for 10, 15 minutes, oh yeah, sure, we'll do a quick Facebook call. But if they're actually, wanting a long reading and so forth, and I want to record it for them, I'm moving them into Zoom. And the big thing for me is, picking that one thing, so that, you're not trying to learn all these different platforms, and if you can just hand a link to somebody, they're going to be able to join you. So that's why I suggest Zoom is my recommendation. As far as platforms for promoting your remote reading, yeah, that's all demographic driven, but also it's what's popular now. I mean,
Yeah.
TikTok is the Wild West. I was on there researching tarot the other day. Oh my God, I just could not believe the videos and what people are putting on there and what they're calling tarot, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And some of it is just horrendous. But you can go on TikTok and still Instagram to a large extent and grow your following really fast, a lot faster than say Facebook.
But that also is an opportunity with TikTok because there is so much crap out there on TikTok from people who don't know what they're doing.
Right. And
Or
that's
by
an opportunity
people
for
who are
us, but
doing a, you
right?
know, pick a crystal and then jump forward to 1 minute and 27 seconds to see what your future is, kind of deal. Since if you know your stuff, and everybody who's in the guild knows their stuff, right? And you can master a 30-second explanation of, and I'm quickly looking around looking for my tarot deck, and of course it's not here when oh, here it is. Okay. And you can master a 30-second explanation of, let's just pick a card of three of, what is it? Three of Pentacles. And you can just go on for 30 seconds on the Three of Pentacles that this is a card of compromise. And the next week, you're going to have to learn how to put your own things aside and not be so forceful, and learn how to compromise to make sure boom, 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 and you're out. Okay. You're giving good advice. You're giving practical stuff. You're showing that you know your stuff. Okay. And you're giving a little bit of like a horoscopy kind of thing going on, the practical advice in 30 seconds and you're done. And that I don't see being done on TikTok. I see all these people who want to be, you know, what was the crazy woman who used to advertise the Psychic Network? You said, what was her name, right? Cleo. Everybody's got their take on Cleo, and they're just going over the top on image and hoping that personality and BS is going to get them where they're going, right? If you can use TikTok and you know your stuff, hey, I'm Gary, the tarot guy. I'm that tarot guy, Gary Karp. Here's your 30-second reading for today. Today's card, Three of Pentacles, compromise, blah, 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 blah. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
The product, when you finish your video, say, go to my Etsy store and buy yada yada.
Exactly.
Well, and
and always tag it. And that's the thing with, and here's something again for remote readings. Okay.
We got to wrap
remote
this up.
reading. I apologize.
We're getting really.
We're
going
going
an
off
hour, not 2 hours.
Yep. Remote readings, everything, especially email, in your footer. Highlight the service that you're putting in. Automatic service. Find me on Patreon. Find me on Arnhem. Find me on Best Psychic Directory. Visit my Etsy store. Blah, 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 blah. Throw it all in your footer.
Yeah, you can actually set up the God, I wish I had this already set up here. Here, I might be able to find it real quick if I go on Instagram.
And I apologize. I was good for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I also have a couple. Don't go anywhere, folks, because I have got a couple of suggestions that I want to make sure I get to, because it's about actually being successful. I'm trying to look here. Okay. So one of the ones that folks are using now is Linktree. It's actually linktr.ee/ your name, you know, get all your links on one thing. Now, of course, this is my thing that I have. Oh shit. It's the same thing with Patreon. The thing that I have with this is that you can do it on your own website, folks. You don't need to
here's where you use Linktree. Okay. Instagram will not allow you to drop links except in your bio. So if you use the Linktree link in your bio, then you can link them to everything else. That is the only advantage to Linktree.
However, what you can do is you can take a short link that sends them to a page on your website that has all your links. And there you go. You didn't need to use Linktree. Anyway, I'm just throwing these things out there, you know, for the people that want to do it this way or they want to do it that way. You know, I'm trying to, you know, there's alternatives, you know, just hit me up, send me a message. I'll help you out, you know, alternatives if you don't want to use certain services and things like that. We take advantage of the tarotguild.com, folks. You have your own page on there. We'll give you a short link, and it takes you to your page. It's all editable. You can put all of the links to everything you want along with your picture or your bio and or an introductory video. Everything can be put on your page at the Tarot Guild, and we can make you a short URL like mary.thetarotguild.com, or you could just make a bit.ly link, bit.ly tarot by Dax, and it points to my page on the Tarot Guild website, and you get that as a member anyway, and it's all free, and I can show you how to set it up, if you don't want to figure all this stuff out. But the thing, as far as being successful, and we started talking about we started talking about the different social medias. Okay, I do want to throw out my best recommendation, which is, you want to go on the bleeding edge. You're going to be able to maybe even blow up with TikTok. Do it. Instagram still, it's going more to TikTok now, but still on Instagram, you can blow up, but only use those platforms to point people to where you want them to be. And my suggestion, out of all the different services, platforms, everything that's out there, YouTube is where it is at. And it will probably be for the foreseeable future. Yes, there's other services that are going to come out. Yeah, there's a lot of other video things going on now. Even Facebook and everybody else is trying to do this and do the shorts and all that, And then 5 years from now, there's going to be stuff, 10 years from now. But I'm talking foreseeable future, before the decline of YouTube right now, because we're not talking about making money 10, 15, 20 years from now. We're talking about making money right now doing remote readings. The way you're going to get yourself out there and where it's at is YouTube. So start a YouTube channel, start working on that. If you make slightly longer videos, take snippets of it, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, point people back to your YouTube channel, your website, your Facebook, your Tarot Guild page. Get them to YouTube. They get to know you. They get to, the people that are going to follow you on YouTube are people that like your personality and the way you present. Put out a lot of free knowledge, real good stuff. Let them get to like you. And what's the other thing, Gary? Like and
like and trust.
No,
KLT.
like, yeah, you want to get the whole shebangy there, and then those are the people, your raving fans. No, not everybody out there, your 1,000 raving fans is
1,000 true fans. Yep.
The 1,000 true fans. That's what you're aiming for. Hey, if you get up to 100,000 subs on YouTube, more power to you, and yeah, you can start monetizing that, and you can start making, a few $1,000s a month from people watching your videos. But that should not be your goal. Your goal should be to get those 1,000 raving fans, and people to know, like, and trust. And you're going to be able to sell those remote readings, even giving free ones away on YouTube. But real quick, because we got to wrap things up, any last minute things from Ellie or Vita or Melody still here? Just want to throw the opportunity out there. If anybody's got a question or anything before we sign off here. This has been great. Wow, lots of great information, huh? Well, thanks to everybody for being here, and gosh, I don't even know what our next workshop is, but it's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be great. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.